Coming up on Falcon Weekly.
Former British Prime Minister Margaret Thatcher has passed away. Hear how several world leaders are responding.
Plus, a U.S. diplomat has been killed in Afghanistan. We'll have the latest on the story.
And UM students are raising awareness about modern-day slavery. See how Freedom Week is making an impact on campus and around the world. Falcon Weekly starts now.
Hello, and welcome to Falcon Weekly. I'm Tyler North.
And I'm Samuel Phillips. Thanks so much for joining us.
Former British Prime Minister Margaret Thatcher has died. Thatcher was known for having a close relationship with President Ronald Reagan, President George W. Bush, former Prime Minister Tony Blair, and Prime Minister David Cameron have also expressed their remorse over Thatcher's death. Queen Elizabeth is expected to send a private message of sympathy to Thatcher's family.
The remains of a murdered American diplomat will arrive home today. Anne Smedinghoff was killed Saturday when a suicide bomber struck her convoy in Afghanistan. The 25-year-old State Department worker was delivering books to a school when the incident happened. Her parents say she died doing something that she loved.
Really contribute and help make a difference to, in this case in Afghanistan, to the people who really needed the kind of help that she was able to provide, both in terms of education, helping local women's groups, helping businesses, and so forth.
4 other Americans were killed in the attack. Smedinghoff is believed to be the first diplomat killed since the attack in Libya in September. The State Department is investigating the incident.
Secretary of State John Kerry laid a red, white, and blue wreath at a Holocaust memorial service held in Jerusalem early this morning. In his third trip to the Middle East since taking over Washington's top diplomatic job, Kerry hopes to restart peace talks between the Israelis and the Palestinians. Kerry attended the memorial service just one day after meeting one-on-one with Palestinian President Mahmoud Abbas. Kerry hopes to help bring an end to a 4.5-year stalemate between the Israelis and the Palestinians that has seen little progress at all.
Russian President Vladimir Putin was subjected to an unusual form of protest over the weekend. During a visit to a trade fair with German Chancellor Angela Merkel, Putin and Merkel were confronted by 3 topless women who were protesting the detention of a Russian feminist punk band that made world news last year. Russia is urging Germany to punish the group of women who are a part of a women's rights group called Femin. Before being covered up and hauled away by security, the women shouted slogans calling the Russian leader a dictator.
Search efforts for 2 children at a northern Carolina construction site have ended. The children's bodies were found at the bottom of a 24-foot pit behind a family member's home this morning. Authorities say the kids were trying to retrieve a lost tool when a dirt wall collapsed and trapped them in the pit. Rescuers worked for 12 hours to save them, but to no avail. Local media members are reporting that the pit was actually a basement under construction. The families of the children have yet to release a statement. Greek Week is over and the champions have been named. See what Greek activities took place and who was crowned on Saturday.
And SGA elections aren't over quite yet. We'll tell you how your voice can help make a difference in the vice president runoffs. Those stories and more when Falcon Weekly returns. Welcome back from the break.
This week is looking very busy with activities to raise awareness for modern-day slavery. Madison Jones joins us with information on this year's Freedom Week.
University of Montevallo students are making an impact around the world and in our own backyard. This week is Freedom Week, a fundraising event that is working to end slavery. Event planners say the main goal of the week is raising awareness about the 27 billion people currently trapped in slavery. The most public way Freedom Week is raising money is through their faculty prison project. Elena Noonan explains how faculty can make a big difference by donating a little time in the jail cell.
Put faculty and staff in there, who set a pledge, and that's basically their bail money. And if they don't meet their bail money, supposedly, they just serve their time of 30 minutes or an hour, and then they get out.
Throughout the week, Freedom Week volunteers have planned awareness activities to help get the entire campus involved. Events include worship opportunities, a Freedom Night documentary, and ecclesia gathering, as well as the faculty prison project. Freedom Week volunteers hope to raise $6,000 throughout this week.
SGA elections continue today as students look to decide the last position in the cabinet. The runoffs for the SGA vice presidency begin today. Students can log into their Blackboard accounts and vote for either Jonathan Evans or Hannah Gentry for the position. There's also time left for those waiting to serve in Senate positions. Senate spots still available include senior, junior, and education. Applications are due Friday.
At Montevallo, Greek life typically includes mixers, formals, and other events. But when this time of year comes around, everyone knows it's Greek Week. Falcon Weekly's Savannah Kidd shows us how these Greeks are competing for the grand prize.
Greek life at Montevallo could be described as easygoing or laid back. But when April comes around each year, the Greeks come out to play. April 1st through 6th is set aside for a variety of events to celebrate Greek unity and declare a victor among the organizations. Alpha Kappa Lambda member Clark Maxwell says his favorite part of Greek Week is the field games.
Because I just think it's fun to heavily compete against one another, but then at the end of the day, you're still friends with the other fraternity or sorority members.
Events this week include a special guest speaker, a kickball tournament, and field games. Tonight there'll be a cookout and step show, and Saturday there'll be a service project called The Big Event, and also Greek Awards. Though 13 organizations compete for the title, only one fraternity and one sorority can be the Greek Week winners. Panhellenic President Audrey Barron says that at this year's Greek Week, their main goal was to have Greeks unite and celebrate comradeship.
We really just wanted to have a time where we could all just hang out and get to know each other better and just be happy that we're Greeks and promote that to our campus.
Though it's a grueling competition, Greek Week is also meant to unite its members and for everyone to let loose for some old-fashioned fun. For Falcon Weekly, I'm Savannah Kidd reporting.
At the Greek Week Awards this past Saturday, Delta Gamma and Alpha Kappa Lambda were named the Greek winners.
An Alabama man is being forced to remove his wife from her grave. See why her burial has caused a conflict.
And one boy with brain cancer gets the opportunity of a lifetime. See how he was able to score the ultimate touchdown. Those stories and more when Falcon Weekly returns. Welcome back from the break.
The University of Nebraska helped make a dream come true over the weekend for a boy who's battling brain cancer. The 7-year-old scored a touchdown in the university's spring game, and it was truly a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity. Reporter Brandy Peterson tells us more.
Taylor gets the shotgun set, gives it to Jack. Here he goes.
Coach Bo Pelini's surprise call that brought Husker Nation to its feet. 7-year-old Jack Hoffman runs in a 69-yard touchdown in front of 60,000 screaming fans, including his friend and idol, former Husker Rex Burkhead.
I told him congratulations. I told him look good. I told him he needs to be a new running back here.
Burkhead met Jack in 2011. The two quickly became friends, and Jack became one of the team's biggest inspirations, a little boy battling brain cancer. Saturday, Jack moved from the sidelines onto the field.
Oh, it's awesome. Jack, he's a fighter. He's a strong kid. And just see him, get out here, run around, enjoy the Husker experience. It's a dream come true, especially for kids growing up in the state of Nebraska. And for Jack to get out here and do it, I know it made his day.
And his dad's. Andy Hoffman spearheaded Team Jack to raise money and awareness for kids everywhere fighting brain cancer. Saturday was all about his son.
It was pretty special. It was very special, and I told Coach and all these coaches, they've given Jack so many once-in-a-lifetime opportunities, and to just have another one of those once-in-a-lifetime opportunities, I think speaks volumes about Coach Pelini and the kind of program that he has, and just really what he's all about as a person.
Jack's moment will go down in history. He was Nebraska's leading rusher for the day.
Way to go, buddy.
It felt awesome.
A game these players and coaches will never forget.
It puts it all in perspective what the game's really all about. It is a game. It's why they call it a game. And it's great for our players to see that there's just something bigger than this.
Deadliest form of skin cancer, usually caused by exposure to ultraviolet rays. And even though more people are living after a melanoma diagnosis, they have to be careful, especially when it comes to being out in the sun. Now a new study finds that many of these survivors still go outside without protection. Here's Holly Furfer with today's Health Minute.
Melanoma can kill, but if people are diagnosed within its early stages, it can be managed. And although most survivors of melanoma stay away from too much sun exposure, new data shows some may not be as cautious as they should be. In a new Yale study unveiled this week at the annual meeting of the American Academy of Cancer Research, doctors have found that more than a quarter of those with melanoma do not use sunscreen when outside for more than an hour, and many still use tanning beds. Investigators looked at data on melanoma protection taken from a large national health interview survey conducted 3 years ago. Of more than 27,000 adults, 171 had a history of melanoma. And although those survivors were more prone to stay in shade and wear protective clothing than those who did not have melanoma, 27% of them said they never wore sunscreen when outdoors on a sunny day. And what was most shocking to researchers is that 2% of those survivors said they still used tanning booths. Study authors believe dermatologists need to stress to their patients the dangers of sun exposure and tanning bed rays. Doctors should make strong pleas to melanoma patients to use sun protection and avoid artificial tanning because melanoma can reoccur and lead to bigger problems. A little something to think about when you go to the beach this summer. For today's Health Minute, I'm Holly Furfer.
If you think that you or someone you know is showing signs of melanoma, be sure to check out the American Academy of Dermatology's website on ways to check your skin for symptoms. An Alabama man who buried his wife in his front yard back in 2009 is being forced to dig her up. This comes after the State Court of Civil Appeals upheld a lower court's ruling Friday that she couldn't be buried along a main road. Authorities say James Davis will have to move his wife's remains to an approved cemetery. Davis says it was his wife's dying wish and that the law is on his side. He is prepared to take his fight to the Alabama Supreme Court.
Some items that are currently prohibited to take through airport security will soon be permitted. Falcon Weekly's Trent Pickle shows us what objects will be allowed and how flight crew members are responding.
Since 2001, those traveling by air have had to exercise more caution when packing their carry-on luggage. Certain items, such as containers of liquids over 4 ounces in size, like this bottled water, are prohibited past the security checkpoint. In these instances, a TSA official will simply toss the items into the trash. However, items such as pocket knives could raise the suspicion of security and result in additional screening. Starting April 25th, certain items on the list of contraband will be cleared and permitted beyond airport security and onto passenger aircraft. Passengers flying on U.S. flights will be permitted to carry on such items as ski poles, up to 2 golf clubs, and hockey sticks. Pocket knives with blades less than 6 centimeters will also be permitted beyond security. The Flight Attendant Union Coalition, which represents 90,000 flight attendants, sees the move differently. The union blasted the announcement, stating it's poor and short-sighted. Flight attendants on U.S. carriers are concerned because they are a flight's first line of defense.
It's definitely an issue that we need to focus on, and as a flight crew member, I can definitely say that I think the TSA made a mistake in this choice.
The primary fear of permitting pocket knives through security is, of course, the fear of another 9/11-style terrorist attack, but the fear of intoxicated or irate passengers is also of a recurring concern.
We do have a lot of irate passengers at times, and then if they just upset with the airline period, they can take it out on us.
Razor blades and box cutters will still be listed as contraband, as will all containers of liquid over 4 ounces in size. The allowance of pocket knives comes as the TSA also announced it will be cutting back its frontline workforce staff, meaning security agents, which are at the forefront of security screening. I'm Trent Pickle, reporting for Falcon Weekly.
So far, the TSA has not announced any time frame on lifting the ban on liquids. For more information on what is permitted and prohibited through airport security, visit www.tsa.gov.
Now it's time for a check of our Montevallo forecast.
Falcon Weekly's Kyle Jones joins us with a look at this week's weather, live from outside the studio. Kyle, you look nice today.
It's a beautiful day here on campus at the University of Montevallo. We can expect a continuation at least until tomorrow evening. Wednesday will bring a chance of showers and expect thunderstorms on Thursday. The weekend will be a great chance to get out to UM Lake as temperatures will be in the 70s. Temperatures will continue to rise as we head into next week. At the moment, it's about 77 degrees here on campus, and for From Falcon Weekly, enjoy the rest of today's beautiful weather. Back to you in the studio.
KB Avery joins us in the studio with a look at sports.
What's going on in the sporting world, KB?
Well, the university's baseball team has been ranked nationally for the first time, and see how the women's golf team fared in the Bash at the Beach tournament coming up after the break. Sports is next. Welcome back to Falcon Weekly. I'm KB with a look at this week's sports. It looks like the Falcons have moved up 2 spots on the latest college baseball lineup. NCAA Division II poll following a pair of victories over West Alabama and nationally ranked UAH last week. The Falcons moved up to the number 19 last week, and this week marks their 2nd consecutive week to make the poll. The Falcons are one of 4 Peach Belt Conference schools to be ranked in the top 25 schools and are expected to return to action tomorrow afternoon in a non-conference game against Miles College. First pitch is set for 4 p.m. Montevallo will return to the Peach Belt Conference with a 3-game series at Francis Marion University in South Carolina, April 13th and 14th. Switching gears to golf, the women's golf team is currently 8th in team standing following the first round of the Bash at the Beach tournament held this past Saturday at the LPGA International Course. Sophomore Ashley Beck led Montevallo in the first round with her 11-over par 83, and senior Kayla Witt rounded out the group of Montevallo golfers after shooting 104 in the first round. And in tennis news, the team is scheduled to compete in their final Peach Belt Conference match of the season against conference newcomer Young Harris College. The match is scheduled to begin tomorrow at 2:30. In track and field news, University of Montevallo sophomore Madison Brown was named the Peach Belt Conference Women's Track and Field Athlete of the Week on last Tuesday, earning the program's first ever honor in its inaugural season. In the process, Brown won the javelin throw at the Emory University Classic. With her 4th throw, the sophomore uncorked a 37.41-meter toss to win the event by more than 2 meters over second-place winner Nadia Arianhad of UAH. Brown's throw is the longest in the Peach Belt Conference this season, sets a new school record, and is less than 3 meters off the NCAA's Division II provisional mark. The women's track team will return to action this Saturday at the Mississippi College Open Meet. Well, that's it for sports this week.
A 90-year-old woman had a sky-high birthday celebration this year. The Florida native decided to best celebrate her birthday by skydiving. Friends from her retirement home were on the ground to cheer her on after the jump. Marion said that she was afraid that the chute would never open. That's all the time we have for this week's show. Thank you so much for joining us.
For more UM news, be sure to check out the Falcon News Network blog. The web address is on your screen. We'll see you again next week.